Alright, hello everybody. Good afternoon, or I guess good evening, or hell, even good morning to some of you maybe. Not exactly sure where you're watching from. But hello and welcome to my gameplay stream for Friday, September 2nd, 2016. I am Darkside Phil. The summer is coming to a close. Technically it is still the summer here in the United States, but very much things are changing. The weather is turning. The weather is becoming a lot more cool here. The hot, long summer days are pretty much winding down. The sun is going down earlier now. Starting to settle in for a fall. And you know what that means. The fall means it's time for the busy gaming season. It's already begun. Although this year I think it really did start a little bit slower than previous years. And what I mean by that in particular is that games like Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, Attack on Titan, King of Fighters 14, you know, all the stuff I've been playing for the past week and a half or so, haven't necessarily been the most super duper white hot AAA overhyped popular games. You know what I mean? It's good to have new games and new content and stuff to be doing. Keeps me occupied. I certainly am occupied right now in the middle of so much stuff. But at the same time, it's not like, wow, there was a giant release everyone was waiting for and anticipating for me to play or anything like that. I think that we will definitely have a lot of that coming up in the next few weeks to months. Just in particular, some of the games that are standing out for me, Mafia 3 for sure is one of them. Probably, I would say to some extent, Gears of War 4 to see what this dev team is going to do with the game now that supposedly ended with 3. Now you got, you know, newer people working on it. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, definitely a big one. Battlefield 1, definitely a big one. The Last Guardian, after the years and years we've been waiting for that freaking game, that's going to be a huge one. Dishonored 2, Watch Dogs 2. The new Pokemon, I definitely am interested in very much. Obviously Final Fantasy 15, which now has been delayed. And of course you got South Park, you've got Dead Rising 4. You know, and that's just a few of the big releases coming out by the end of this year. There's a lot of stuff that necessarily isn't a new game that I'm interested in, like playing Dead Rising, the original remake that they're doing, because I never played it. I only played it once. I owned, like, the discount, you know, what was it, Game of the Year edition, Platinum Hits version or whatever, and I hated it back then when I played it before. This was before I was ever on YouTube. I hated it because I thought the control scheme was absolutely terrible. But, you know, now I've played the other Dead Risings. I don't know. I definitely want to play it and give it a shot, because people are saying it's, like, the best story of all of them. And I never played through it. So that's going to be fun. In addition, you know, replaying the original BioShock, which actually is one of my favorite first-person shooters of all time. The original BioShock basically turned the first-person shooter genre into, like, a story-based genre. Before then, it was always about, oh, repetitive gameplay, shooting. But BioShock showed that you can integrate a unique and interesting story with characters that resonate with you. And I love the original BioShock. Now, I did replay it for YouTube, because I played it before I ever was on YouTube. And then I played it while I was on YouTube, but it was years ago. That was one of my earlier playthroughs on my original Darkside Phil channel. And I did it with the camera, right? I didn't do it direct capture, and this audio quality was terrible. And quite honestly, for like the second half of it, I remember I played it like over a long weekend, and I was like drinking when I was playing it. I'm looking forward to experiencing that game again. I am, because I love that game, and I want to give it a fair shake, and kind of enjoy it, you know, after years of not playing it. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. So that's just some of the great games that are coming out this fall gaming season that I'm looking forward to, and I certainly hope that you're looking forward to them as well. Not only to play them yourself, but, you know, to join me and watch me on stream, or watch the playthroughs afterward on demand, whatever is your cup of tea, okay? Alright, so, ladies and gents, let's talk a little bit, because the weekend has shifted, everything has changed, my schedule. I thought this week, the entire week, was going to end up just being kind of like Attack on Titan balanced with Deus Ex, and it's ended up being completely different from what I expected, alright? First of all, the Battlefield 1 beta released, and I tried to play it for 2 straight days. I only got to play it for about a little over 90 minutes yesterday, but regardless, I did get to play it. And I did a first impressions video about it over on KOGaming. If you haven't checked that out yet, I strongly recommend that you do. So that you know all about that beta. Okay. So that was yesterday. Today, as you can see, doing things a little differently. We're going to be playing King of Fighters 14 again. Now you may say, you know, what's going on with King of Fighters 14? Because you played it all last week, you know, several streams and or sessions of it. And then you did a multiplayer session and then it just disappeared. What's going on? Well, the bottom line was after playing the multiplayer last week, I realized that it was absolutely terrible. The online play was crap. It was super delayed. Super bad. Alright, it was just laggy as shit, slow motion, underwater gameplay. And everyone's been complaining about it. Everyone who bought the game is like, this is bullshit. You know, in 2016, we shouldn't be playing a game with online play that feels like it's 15 years old. Because, you know, it's funny, people don't realize the original Xbox had games like Street Fighter 3 Third Strike and Capcom vs. SNK 2 with online play, and they basically played exactly the same as how this game played. Okay, it's that bad. So, SNK said they were going to patch it, and in fact, as of last week, they said, we do have a patch for it. We can fix it right now, but it has to go through this complex approvals process with Sony to get the patch approved and then released to everyone who owns the game, so please be patient. So I've been eagerly awaiting the arrival of this patch, especially because, you know, last week, when I played it, even though it was slow-mo and terrible, I had fun playing it, and I was like, man, if this were not as terrible of a situation, I'd probably like it a lot more. So here we are today. The patch released, I think, either 1 or 2 days ago. And I said, I'm finally going to take a stream away to do this. So here we go. Today it's going to be King of Fighters 14 online play again, take 2. Now, obviously, I haven't played with any new characters because I haven't played this game in a week. So you have to understand that it's going to be the same characters who I played with last week. There's not much I could do about that, considering I haven't played the game since then. I can't magically just learn characters out of nowhere, alright? So I'm going to be playing with probably the same 5 or 6 characters that I played with last week. I'll try to switch it up for variety's sake. I will be trying ranked matches as well as those lobbies that we tried last week. We'll try everything out and see how it works. Now, let's say I play it for a couple hours. I'm like, okay, I get it. What I may do, I may check out the other modes as well. The game does have a survival mode and a time attack mode, which I never tried. And I may check those out just for the sake of saying I've played every game mode, because the bottom line is I want to review King of Fighters 14. I've wanted to review the game since last week, but knowing that this patch was coming through to repair the multiplayer, I wanted to give them a fair shot and not review the game until the patch was released, okay? And don't worry, in my review, I will take into account that the game was broken at launch, but it took them about a week to a week and a half to patch it, and I'll factor that into everything that I say in my review. So, I want to review the game. I'm planning right now to review this game on Monday, okay? Monday night, I think I will be hopefully releasing my review for King of Fighters 14 over on KOGaming. So that'll be one down on my list of games that I need to review, okay? Now, what's going to happen this weekend? Because there's a lot of stuff going on right now that honestly is kind of screwing with my schedule and making me shift stuff around, okay? Here's the deal. Overwatch, today, this morning, released the patch, the big update patch for Overwatch on consoles. This added Season 2 to their ranked gameplay. It also added new emotes, new skins, and a whole new map. So it pretty much is a little bit of a new burst of content for the game that I'm interested in checking out. I haven't played Overwatch in about 2 weeks, so it should be fun to do a session and check out the new stuff. So that I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I've decided Saturday will be an updated stream of Overwatch with all the new stuff. So that should be a fun multiplayer stream coming tomorrow, okay? Now, I'm in the middle of Attack on Titan, and from what I understand, I'm heading into the final chapters and legs of the game. So I kind of want to focus on that. So probably Sunday and Monday, I'm thinking. Both of those gameplay streams will probably be focused on Attack on Titan, so that I can maybe finish it up and review that game, okay? Now, unfortunately, the game that's kind of being treated like the red-headed stepchild here is Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Because I've been enjoying playing the game a lot, but as you know, I haven't been playing it too often, or when I do play it, I've only been playing it for like 2-hour spurts. It kind of sucks because with so many games out that I'm juggling now, this is what happens, unfortunately. You know, I can't play everything at once. I just can't. And even if I did, if I released all those videos, people would complain that I'm releasing too much at once. So it's kind of tough to make executive decisions on what I'm going to be playing each day when there's so much going on. So that being said, next week, there may be a little bit of a refocus for me, dependent on what happens. If I finish up Attack on Titan, let's say I finish it up on Monday, okay? Well, Tuesday, the final Call of Duty Black Ops 3 zombie map is released. It's the conclusion to the zombie campaign that I've been playing all year cooperatively with my friends Coruchado and the Arid Lord. So we're going to be finishing that up on Tuesday. But then, what I may do later in the week is I may focus on Deus Ex to try to get as far as I can and try to finish it up. Because here's the deal, everyone. The middle week of September, which would be, I guess you say September 13th, there's 3 releases. There's Recore, which is the kind of platforming puzzle action game that's been advertised for Xbox One for like 2 years now at E3 that looks pretty good. Interested in that. There's also the HD re-release remasters of Dead Rising and BioShock. And I'm interested in doing all of those. Alright? I'm interested in doing all of those. But, you know, that's the thing. If I'm still playing Deus Ex, I mean, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? So what I'm thinking is I need to kind of finish up Deus Ex before we get to that week, which would leave me basically kind of like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 6 days to finish it up, which I think I could definitely do. But at the same time, I think people are going to get bored if all I'm doing is playing Deus Ex. So I don't know what to do about that. I got to think a little bit about what I want to do to maybe balance gameplay or whatever, but also be able to finish up certain playthroughs in time to move on to other stuff. Because the other bottom line, alright, is that the Patreon goal for the month of August was hit. We hit it. Which means there's going to be another playthrough for late September, and it's either going to be Crash Bandicoot 3, Jack 3 HD, or Banjo-Kazooie HD. Whatever wins the poll, which I'm going to be creating this weekend, and patrons will begin to vote on. So I need to finish up the other games that I'm playing to make time to play that one. So you see what I mean? It's just like, it's a rolling wave of gameplay that's just constantly going on. It's the complete opposite of the summer, right? In the summer, there's so little going on. It's like, well, I gotta do this filler playthrough. Let's just do this out of nowhere because there's nothing else going on. Now it's like there's so much going on that it's overwhelming. It's filling up all of my time. And I have to pick and choose what I'm gonna play on each day at this point. So, that's the deal. It's very time consuming, very different, and I do want to apologize to those who are like, oh, I really want to see this one particular game. You know, I'm doing my best. I'm trying to juggle everything as best I can, and the bottom line is we're not even into the busiest part of the season yet. We're just starting. We're just starting September, you know. Alright. So, there you have it, ladies and gents. Alright, so I want to get started here with King of Fighters. I'm not going to babble on much longer, okay? The one quick thing I'll say, I talked about this on Twitter this morning. I saw the trailer for Infinite Warfare, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare multiplayer. They finally did the big reveal today at this hilarious Call of Duty XP 2016. They have their own fucking expo just for Call of Duty. How fucking close-minded you can be to think that one franchise needs an entire fucking expo, I don't know. But they have their own expo. They revealed the multiplayer for Infinite Warfare, and the entire internet is basically saying, wow, you finally showed it, and it looks like shit, just like we kind of expected it would. It's fucking terrible. It's gimmick after gimmick. They've got the most annoying song playing. It just looks like the most degenerated first-person shooter combat I've ever seen in my fucking life. It really does look like the trailer is geared towards, like, 8-year-olds who are all hopped up on soda. Mommy, 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 Infinite Warfare. Mommy, mommy, look, there's space. Mommy, mommy, look, explosion. Mommy, mommy, robots. That's really what I hear when I see the fucking trailer, man. I just gotta shake my head. I don't understand it. But anyway, it looks like shit, and I've officially confirmed on Twitter this morning I'm not getting the game. I'm done. That's the nail in the coffin. Like, the campaign looks terrible, the multiplayer looks terrible, and I'm not buying this fucking game in order to get Modern Warfare Remastered, which is what a lot of people, I think, are doing, because they want Modern Warfare Remastered, but you're forced to buy this shit game to get it. Fuck all that. I'm done. And that's it. I'm just done with Call of Duty at this point. Until another valid entry is made that basically does what people want, I'm not buying the game anymore. Oh, and by the way, if you don't believe me that the internet agrees that this game is shit, go look at the trailer for yourself and look at the dislikes. There's more dislikes than likes on the video. People think that it's utter crap. And I think this is the turning point. This year is the year when Call of Duty will finally stop being such a sales dynamo, and we can finally fucking say move on from that stupid shit and do other stuff. So there you go. Done with that shit. Alright. So, ladies and gents, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to do a large gratuitous plugs segment here on the stream today. In fact, I probably won't bring up any plugs besides one, and that is the new plug for this month, which is the September Patreon goal is live, ladies and gentlemen. For September, our Patreon goal, if I raise, my funding level goal for the month on patreon.com/DarksidePhil, it's going to be the Halloween Horror Marathon. Now, here's the thing. I did a horror marathon last year. It was the first time I did a horror-themed thing for Halloween in like 4 years. And I think that there were a few bumps there. It could have been a lot better. And I'm learning from experience. So here's how it's going to work if we raise the funds I need for the month of September and the event happens. Here's how it's going to happen, okay? It's going to be a marathon like I usually do. It's going to be around 6 to 7 hours long, this stream, okay? And I'm going to even dress up. I'll have face cam and everything, just like I did last year. You know what I mean? I will have a Halloween costume and all of that. So there you have it. Now, what am I talking about? I'm getting distracted because people are talking to the stream chat, and instead of focusing on what I'm saying, I'm reading the stream chat. It's distracting me. I apologize. Let me look at the stream chat and talk about what I want to talk about. Okay, let's try this again. If we hit the funding goal for September on Patreon, it's going to be a Halloween horror marathon. Last year I did a marathon, but I didn't think it was as good as it should have been because I only focused on one game. There was a poll and one game won. It was the new Fatal Frame game at the time. It had just been released. And unfortunately what happened was after like a couple of hours of the game, people got bored. And I actually agree. The game is good, but it wasn't like outstanding where it really gripped and held your attention. I think that's a game that maybe you want to play a couple hours and then take a break. It's not a game that's good for marathoning. So what ended up happening was a lot of people liked the beginning of the stream and then got bored and left. And I was like, man, I wish I had done it differently. So this year, I'm doing it differently, okay? This year, it's going to be several games. What's going to happen is if we hit the funding level for September, people who pledge $5 or more, in early October, they're going to nominate and then vote on horror games for me to play during the Halloween Marathon. And it's going to be at least 3, if not 4 games this year. So, unlike last year where, oh man, after an hour I'm bored, if you get bored, it's fine because I'm going to switch up games multiple times during this event. So, that'll be awesome. 4 different horror-themed style games, and they could be completely different. You know what I mean? It could be one that's like a survival horror, one that's more psychological horror, one where it's more combat-oriented. I don't know. I'm going to leave it in the hands of the patrons. Okay? So, there you have it. Now, of course, it's going to be within reason. It's going to be games that are playable. If someone's, get this obscure PS1 game that isn't emulated on any console. Obviously, that's not going to happen. It has to be a game that's downloadable, it's playable easily, you know what I mean? And it's okay if it's a PC game, as long as it's not a PC game that's super demanding on my PC, because as you know, when I play PC games and stream at the same time, sadly, it sometimes is very taxing on my computer and will cause frame rate drops and stuff. So obviously I don't want that to happen, okay? So, there you have it. That's the deal. Halloween event. I think people are going to be really interested in this, They were last year, and we did hit the goal, but I'm improving upon it this year by doing several different games. Now, if we do hit the goal as well, during this marathon, I'll have face cam on the whole time, and I will have a Halloween costume that I'll be wearing. I just have to determine what the Halloween costume is going to be. I'm not sure yet. Okay? I'll have to go start looking around just in case we hit the goal. So this is very early that I'm mentioning this. It's only the 2nd of September, and you have until September 30th to pledge at patreon.com/DarksidePhil if you want to make this happen. Okay? So hopefully it works. Hopefully we hit it. Right now, we're close to hitting it, unless people start lowering their pledges, which, by the way, I get the feeling a lot of people will because they had some big pledges that they did in the month of August to make that marathon kind of happen. And so, you know, I'm excited. I'll talk more about this later in the month as we get closer to it, but there you have it, giving you a nice big preview of what to expect. Alright, that's really it. I don't really want to go on with long plugs or anything like that. I want to get started. So there you have it. Thanks for being patient. Now it's time for some King of Fighters gameplay. Thank you, everyone, and let's get started.